Hey everyone, I'm rather incoherent. And while you might be hearing Subnautica right now, you're not looking at it, are you? You're looking at the default Windows 10 login screen, which I have never changed. And apparently, despite the fact that I am playing Subnautica right now, somehow my computer has convinced OBS to record that instead of Subnautica. Why am I bothering to tell you this? Because I recorded the entire previous episode without actually realizing that. So the previous episode is lost, and I'm going to switch over to a functional recording in a second and catch you up on what all you missed. Because apparently this is just the series of insane technical issues that make no sense. Alright, getting back into it properly this time, there's a lot that's changed. The base is a little bit different. I've done a lot of off-camera gathering between the episode that was lost and just gathering while not recording. I probably have 2 hours of gathering since last you've seen me. And I've made a lot of things that we had gotten access to, like advanced equipment, the stasis rifle, the enforced suit, or reinforced suit rather. All of this stuff I've made, I'm gonna go through it, talk about it all. This Seamoth, you'll notice, looks a little bit different, and I hadn't gotten around to naming him. This is Seamoth 3, I think? Seamoth 1 was lost to a gulper, and Seamoth 2 was lost in the lost footage, yes. What happened to Seamoth 2? Well, I left it alone in the Jellyshroom caves, and when I came back it wasn't there, so, you know, crab snakes, that's probably the answer. Congratulations, Seamoth 3, you're beautiful. There is nothing whatsoever wrong with you, don't let anyone tell you otherwise. I do want to get a quick check as to where its name is written on this side. And I forgot to upgrade Seamoth 3 originally, so we're gonna get it a storage module, because we're gonna get one of that for everything. We're gonna get it a depth module, Mark 1, because we sort of need that. I don't have the resources for this, really? I must be short on quartz. I'll go get it in a second. But the big things is we have polyaniline and synthetic fibers available now. I made a brief trip to the very top of the blood kelp area, and, well, I'll just go show you what I got, because I've planted it all. Down here, my garden is grown substantially. I have a full section of kelp, of bloodvine, and of deep mushrooms, and of course the miscellaneous plants I'm gathering over the course of the game, one of each. So that's an endless access to anything involving the blood kelp resources, which is going to be very helpful in the future. The base is a little bit different now. To the right we have largely what I used to come into, and there's this thing. This is something I forgot to pick up doing the FCS studios originally. There was a room that unlocked when I powered the ship on, I went into it and can't find anything. You're supposed to go under the debris, not over it, and that gets you access to this, which you need to participate. It's mandatory. It's not an optional neat thing that you can find. Without this, you cannot use the mod. So that's kind of important. If you're following me as a guide to how to do this, you'll need that. Now coming over to the modification station, there's a lot of upgrades we've made. I think I used to have the Ultra Glide fins, I'm not 100% sure on that, but I've definitely just upgraded to the reinforced suit and the ultra high capacity tank, both of which we unlocked in the previous episode. I've got the scanner room HUD ship now, and the scanner room has been disassembled. It's back in the space as I'm done with the Jellyshroom cave area. You'll also see I've made the stasis rifle. It's incredible, glad to have it. And the power cell charger is here. I'm not sure if that was the case before. Running around the base of it, you can see that our alien containment is a little bit more occupied than it used to be. The jelly snake has hatched, or the crab snake rather. I've rotated these just to make it easier to tell which level I'm on by looking at the exits. This is still a dead end with reinforcements. It once went to a scanner room that I might rebuild. My aquariums are a little bit fuller than they used to be. I had to make a third one. And coming over to the bedroom, you can see it's much nicer than it used to be, with a double bed out looking through a window to the Grand Reef. And I've got all of the ground side, top side, whatever you want to call it, flora from Planet 4546b. Just much nicer than it used to be. Moving on, we circle back to where we came in, and now we have exits on either side, as opposed to having a weird little section just for the exit like it is down here. Coming over here, you can see I've moved all of this stuff. I really disliked having all of my power supply, stuff like that. But more importantly, it wasn't until I moved this to be a part of the same base that the depot inside started working. Speaking of weirdness with FCS, there's a little bit more. I used to have a series of power telephones, I don't know what to call them, running down here to a mining operation, which is apparently a little bit higher up than I thought it was. No, it's not. It's down here. I'm very worried now. Here it is. And that's not the only weirdness I've had with the FCS Studios mod. Coming down here, I've set up several light mining operators, but for whatever reason, if I run power down from my base to these, it will only power one of them. It won't power multiple, which is I built a single solar panel next to all of them, and I'm hoping that's enough to power them. Taking a look at them, you can see it really isn't, and I need to build an additional solar panel for each of them. But the problem is, more likely than not, is simply they're not getting enough power to last the night. They're bottoming out, and they're very slowly generating power during the day. So hopefully, doing it this way, I need to make them crooked again. Otherwise, they won't quite fit. Hopefully, doing it this way, they'll generate enough power to last through the night. Yeah, aesthetically, this is much better. Of course, I'm completely out of quartz, as I always am, so it's time to go a gathering. Off camera, as always, because the off-camera gathering never ends. Quartz, I have been just cripplingly low on this campaign. I suppose I shouldn't call it a campaign, it's a playthrough, isn't it? Something I definitely showed off in the Lost footage is just how ridiculous your dolphin jumps with Super Seaglide are. Really gives you a better appreciation of just how stupidly fast that is. So something I'm realizing is that my base in a box has an issue. EasyCraft is very helpful most of the time, but when I put specific items in a box to be stored to be brought out at a later date, EasyCraft doesn't respect that, and there's no way to make it respect that. It's just going to take shit out of that box and ruin the base in a box. So what I really have to do is build the base and just keep it built until I deconstruct it to bring it somewhere else. And I think what I'm going to do is play all the data logs from the previous episode that I've lost footage of now, while I transfer my base in a box into a real base and use it to scan for quartz and gather all that. So the next, 10 minutes or so, it's going to be mostly lore and gathering. Feel free to skip ahead if you so wish. I really don't like this warper next to the drilling operation, but I guess I'll just have to live with it. Yeah, so now they all have 2 power. Please leave me alone. I guess I have to scan you the hard way at some point, right? Oh, you left? Okay. Was there just quartz completely surrounding me down here when I ran out of quartz? Oh, shit. I didn't realize there was a custom break animation for the stasis rifle. I've literally never broken anything with a stasis rifle before. It never occurred to me that it might... if the stasis rifle out, it's time for fight. That's why it's never happened. But it's a very solid animation. I know it's not, particularly complicated, but I just didn't think there was one. Oh, there he is. Just want the absolute maximum of time because I don't trust warpers. Get the scan and get out. Speaking of, I need to go do this to a Reaper and a Gulper. Speaking of Gulper Leviathans, I'm having a weird sort of issue. Remember? Probably not, but you might remember that I tried to show off the Gulper Leviathan's patrol route under the floating island and I couldn't find it. I still can't find it. I've actually went there for a long time and looked for it. The reason I spent such a huge amount of time looking for the Gulper Leviathan there, and in fact the one on top of the Blood Kelp as well, when I couldn't find them either, is because I heard that the experimental beta for Subnautica has a bunch of the buildings that you might see in Below Zero, namely the big square room that's absolutely awesome in the glass domes. Unfortunately, mods don't work on the experimental build, so whatever, it's fine, I'll play like this without those buildings, it's not a big deal. But when I started the experimental build, it said updating save data, so that made me really worried that some mods wouldn't work. And it looks like everything is fine, I'm very confident that's the case, but I wanted to be sure that De-Extinction was still working, so I went to go look for the Gulper Leviathan to be absolutely sure that it was working, because I couldn't find it earlier and I was worried about it. And I still can't. Multiple hours of gameplay later, I have no idea where the Blood Kelp Gulper or the Iden Gulper have went. They appear to have vanished out of my game. I have confirmed that Gulpers exist in my game. There is 100% a Gulper elsewhere in the floating islands that I went to, and I was like, yeah, there are Gulpers in the floating islands like I thought there would be. And I just don't know where the other two are. They're definitely supposed to be in my game, and they're just mysteriously missing. Anyway, now that we've done all that, we can make this CMOC depth module, and more importantly than that even, we can take this over to the upgrade station, and I think we can upgrade it all the way to Mark III and go much deeper. To make this, we need enameled glass and a plasteel ingot, and I'm pretty sure the plasteel ingot's going to be the problem here. The question is, it's not the titanium. Oh, it's actually not the plasteel ingot that's the problem? It's the enameled glass? Oh, I used my only enameled glass making the prawn suit. I was going to talk about that afterwards, but I guess now I have to talk about it now, huh? Because I've mentioned it. The Eagle-Eyed Monk, you may have already spotted it. The prawn suit's just hanging out on top of the moon pool. It doesn't have grappling arms yet, so I'm not particularly interested in using it when I did build it. I guess it's time to go make my base in a box, because I need to scan for stalker teeth now as well as everything else. Alright, an incredibly short trip later, we've gotten the titanium. We can build this bioreactor, chuck some fish in it, and call it a day. And then we'll be able to start scanning and searching and listening to logs. Alright, I imagine I've grabbed enough fish at this point. A stalker has already stolen one of my cameras, apparently. It's fine, I don't care about this. They can keep the cameras. The important thing is that we can chuck our fish in here. Not as many fish as I thought I'd gathered, but still plenty of fish, I would hope. And we can set this to start scanning for various resources, and honestly, we need kind of all of them. First, we're going to go with limestone chunks, after that with quartz, and we're going to start listening to logs as soon as I've banked and I'm ready. We got a couple new logs to listen to. We have Bart 1, Bart 2, Degassi 5, Degassi 6, and Paul 2. So let's get moving through.
I thought it might get claustrophobic living underwater. Father feels it is. He'd tell me it was childish, but I stare out the window and sometimes I think how lucky I am to see this world up close. Back on the island, I wouldn't have believed the creatures that live down here. The fish, they glow. There's one that's 90% eyeball. Snakes twice the length of a habitat compartment. Certainly, it's not all friendly. Most of the plant life is toxic. I learned that the hard way. But I've managed to coax some marble melons into growing indoors. And when they don't cover our dietary needs, well, we eat the fish themselves. It's a bit gross, but there's nothing they wouldn't do. I've been attempting to document my findings. Father approves. He says understanding is power. That the more we know about this planet, the more we can use it to our advantage. I'm just doing it because it's fun. It's not easy without proper equipment and network access, but the old-fashioned way, observing, taking notes, testing theories, shows me the world in a way a spectroscopic analysis never could. Lately, I've been watching the crab snakes. They ambush their prey as it tries to feed on the mushrooms they hide in. What they don't eat settles on the seabed, which fertilizes the mushrooms, which feeds the herbivores, and so the chain continues. Co-evolution gives me the fuzzies. Something incredible just happened. Since we're down here, I had this plan to build equipment and study the life forms we were encountering, but I didn't have enough enameled glass. So, I started looking for a natural substrate that would strengthen the glass we have, and those stalker teeth we've been finding fit the bill. Only, well, we needed more. That's when Marguerite got interested. She actually listened to me, more than I can say for Father, and I worked up the courage to talk about my more tentative theories. When I told her they were attracted to metal deposits, that their teeth get dislodged when they pick them up, her eyes narrowed and she dashed out of the room. 3 hours later, she came back, her pack loaded down with stalker teeth. I asked her about it. She shrugged and said my theories were good. Said she had the meeting out of the palm of her hand. I think she meant it literally. She is incredible. She went out to the kelp forest armed with just a heat blade and went fin to fin with a pack of stalkers. On the one hand, that is the coolest thing I have ever heard. On the other, well, I hope the stalkers didn't come off worse than Marguerite did. She had a huge gash on her forearm. I don't think things went as smoothly as she made out. What's the point in surviving here if we have to kill everything that makes it so wonderful? I wish I knew more about these animals, but Father won't let me leave the habitat. Maybe with all this glass, we could build a containment unit and get up close to them.
Son, there is always a pecking order, and in our world, money makes a hierarchy. I pay Maida a fraction of what I pay you, and you a fraction of what I pay me.
If money makes the hierarchy, why is Marguerite making the decisions?
We need her. We let her think what she likes, so long as she does what she's told.
What if she doesn't?
For enough money, she will. People always do. We're already 200 meters below sea level. You want to go deeper?
Look around us, Chief. Water leaking through the hull, water outside the hatch. We're drowning real slow. If If rescue arrives, whatever shot us down, it's gonna do it again and again until it's shut off. You see an off switch around here, Chief?
Why would it any more likely be half a kilometer down?
Your kid found something on the scanner. There's something down there. Something that shouldn't be.
You're mad.
I'm going all the same, and I have an idea you two are gonna follow. But if you do, be mindful. Your authority stopped at sea level.
It's a bit weird to me that I'm able to get crystalline sulfur super early in the game from this mod. The automated drilling stuff is like, I don't know where I stand on it. There's a lot of interesting crafting stuff and a lot of new systems. I don't know how I feel generally about how well integrated into the game it is. But I do feel like the fact that it can make a jukebox and it gives me a lot of crafting stuff to think about is good, even if there might be some balance or coherency issues. Alright, back to logs and gathering. I have no recollection of listening to Deeper, but I assume I must have. Now we're on to the dilemma.
You know what Maida told me today? She wants to build a habitat 500 meters below sea level, more than a kilometer northeast of here. And she needs Bart and I to do it. She's got it into her head that she can save us if she just acts recklessly enough. But I've hauled Star Wars to Neptune, Plasteel to the Federation. This family operates 9 different mining colonies across the Ariadne Arm. Maida thinks she's better suited to lead. Her contract still says otherwise. But I just cannot damn well tell whether it's the stupidest idea I ever heard, or my only hope. I turned 80 years old last week. I thought I had another 80 in me, but marooned on this planet, there's no swapping out of my liver when the old one fails. Here, I'm mortal. And Maida is useful. So, it's my responsibility to make a decision. Return to the island and hope whatever knocked the Degazi out of the sky won't do the same to the rescue ship. Or take us deeper in search of answers. And all the while be hoping old age gets me before the sea monsters do. I'll give Maida just one thing. She was right about these caves. There's enough lithium there to fabricate 100 tons of plasteel. Enough for a damn fleet of Cyclops submarines. There was nothing anyone could have done to avoid crashing here. But I was right to order the detour. If we get off this planet, they'll be talking about the Torgal share price on the other side of the Federation.
Gonna set it in stalker teeth for a hot second. And we're going to go figure out if we can't get some enameled glass going. Hopefully there'll be more than one, but one is technically all we need to get our depth upgrade for the sea moth right now. I'll be stealing your titanium while I'm around, no hard feelings. Yeah, there's more down here. Good, good, good. Very far down here, apparently. Is it gonna be beneath the surface? It might be, it's so far down. No, it's just like... Oh, wait, where is that? I've got no idea. How... That might just be well inside of the Earth, right? That's gotta be inside the Earth. I think that one is too. Grumble, grumble. At least this one appears to be above the ground. While I swam over to some interesting mechanics that I learned while watching a speedrun, I'd been thinking there was just a straight % chance anytime you were gathering stuff to get each resource. And I assumed it was split equally between all resources, but that is not actually the case. I could leave this here as an enabled glass nest, but I don't really want to. So the way it works, there are actually resource buckets. Every time you gather a resource, you're essentially reaching into a bag and pulling one out, and once the bag is empty, it's refilled to the same total number that it started with every time. With titanium, it's just 1 copper and 1 titanium. It's basically 50-50. It's just guaranteed that you're not going to hit 10 titanium in a row. It's not truly random. Now we can upgrade our crush module to Mark II, and I'm pretty sure we'll be able to go straight to Mark III. We might be short on plasteel. We are not. I think that's actually as high as it goes. We're able to go all the way to the upper lava zone with this. Or maybe you stop right before the lava zone. I can't quite remember where the sea moth caps out and you have to switch over to Cyclops and Prawn. But this is pretty massive. The sea moth can just go anywhere at this point. I want to say its max depth is like 900 meters. Am I remembering that right? But getting back to the resource gathering stuff. I guess first let's check this. Yep, 900 meters. Holy shit, brain. Why did you put that in your long-term memory? Before I do anything else, I think it's about time that we figured out how to make auto-sort lockers. I'll get back to the crafting stuff or gathering stuff in a second. Receive sorted items, receive sorted items. Transfers items into linked auto-sort receptacles. There we go. So, it's time that we slap this in right at the start. Now, we're going to need to make auto-sort receptacles, which will eventually be all of the lockers down here. But for now, we just have to put them somewhere. And to make these, it's just magnetite and titanium. Or for 1 quartz, you get much more space. We'd rather be doing that. So we're going to drop 2 standing auto-sort receptacles back here. And we're going to see if we can't figure out how this shit works. Down here, I can edit it, label color, icon color, filter, mist color, all of that. Neat. Settings. Yes. So I think if I set this to take synthetic materials, crystal materials, metals, electronics, and natural materials, that's basically everything that I bring into the base anyway. And then I can do the same with this one. Electronics, metals, natural metals, synthetic materials, and crystals. Same thing, different order. Okay. So that should be auto-sort lockers set up. If I were to walk over there with like quartz and gold and lithium and click on the auto-sort locker, then all this shit should just vanish from my inventory. Oh, I see. So you put things into the locker, and then it goes somewhere else from the locker. Alright, that makes sense to me. I thought it would be like you click it and it's gone, like in Terraria, but that's fine. That's just not the UI I thought it had. Okay, so that's gonna make this a lot easier going forward. Where was I? I was talking about resource buckets. The resource buckets for higher resources aren't just 50-50 splits with the minimum number like I thought it would be. There are apparently no more stalker teeth around, so let's change the scanner and get on another tangent again.
Welcome aboard, Captain.
Yeah, you can see that all the ones it's detecting are way beneath the surface, and that's fine. We can move the scanner room later. What I want to do now is quartz. Anyway, getting back on track. Going up to sandstone, it's not a 3 resource bucket like you might expect. It's actually an 8 resource bucket. There's 3 lead and 3 silver, but only 2 gold, which is why you see gold again in shale. And with shale, it's a roughly 40-30-30 split between 40% gold, roughly 30% lithium, and roughly 30% diamonds. However, it's not like split across 10 or even 100. It's split across, I want to say 200. It might actually have been a much higher number than that. But yeah, with shale, it's such a high number that it may as well just be random. I don't understand. My ore processors have decided that instead of doing their job, they're going to tell me that they can't find my accounts. I guess I need a new account now? Why do you keep making me do this? It's not like I need to know any of this, so,
Thank you for creating a
please stop making me do that. Does it remember what resources I had? I assume not. Good thing I always spend all my money immediately, otherwise I'd be really upset right now. I'm just gonna start keeping the PDA thing with me all the time to make sure that I don't have any more issues like this, because I keep having that issue. And I feel like it just, I don't know, I feel like it just glitches out a little bit anytime that I'm not carrying that. So I built this to put more ore consumers on before I realized that ore consumers take 2 plasteel ingots and said fuck that. And now it's attached to this stuff and can't be removed without removing that, so I guess it's here to stay and we'll find a use for it later. It feels very weird to be like in the Grand Reef next to a wreck and just like not care. I'm like, no, I'm here for the quartz. None of this matters to me. At another point in time, we'll come back and I will care about things, but that point in time is not right now. Real quick though, while I'm here. Spooksville. Hate it. Don't see anything too terrifying though. Wanted to make sure there wasn't anything else around. I guess I'll grab this salt while I'm here. Feels like a bit of a waste. I should probably stop getting quartz. Now I've gotten such a stupid amount of quartz, I'm probably good forever. It's not going to be forever, I know it's not, but I think we're good to stop scanning for quartz at the very least. And I think that's going to be the end of our little gathering session. It's not very little, it's been going for a while. Maybe use different words. Now, is there anything else I should be scanning for? I don't think there is. I think we're well and truly good. I could scan for shale, just because it's going to be very valuable, and I don't think there's much shale in the area, but I'm curious to know if I'm wrong about that. And I've got little reason not to. I should throw some more fish in the locker, though. Or not in the locker, from the locker into the generator. Does not actually take that much power to scan, apparently. Thought I'd have less fish by now. Now that I've gotten all that quartz, I think I can actually dismantle pretty much every wall locker down here and switch over entirely to Autosort receptacles. Which won't matter now, but in the distant future it totally will. Okay, it's been a hot second. I've got Autosort lockers here, there, here's the bioreactor. All of this is Autosort lockers now. You guys never see me down here. You don't see me run in and drop my shit off every single time I come back to base, but I never have to do that again. I've moved all of the stuff over here, just cut it off the base. Solar panels up here now. I'm hoping that this is still close enough that it functions. It looks like I could add ores if I had ores to add. Let's go get some and double check all that. And also, it looks like there's lots of shale around, actually. So I'm gonna do a quick gathering run of shale and put all of that in. Except for the lithium, which I will always need more of. I actually didn't know you could get so much shale over here on the safe edge of the Grand Reef. It's not too dissimilar from what I do on the edge of the Mushroom Forest next to the Aurora. It's just like the much safer version of it. So yeah, I should totally come here in the early game for shale. It would have been much faster than going to the Aurora, much safer, much less like nerve-wracking. There are warpers about, and theoretically there could be a Ghost Leviathan out, but I think that's much deeper in and much further out. I don't think the adult ghost in the Grand Reef is anywhere near me. I certainly hope that it isn't. What's that direction? Where the fuck am I going? Sparse Reef? No idea, to be honest. Yeah, there's like caves filled with shale. It's weird. This is just like part of Subnautica I didn't know existed. Along the... Wow. I've never actually gone into this. Along the Grand Reef, there are like these cave trench hybrids in the walls filled with uranium and shale. Wait, what's it telling me to scan if it's not you? Oh, there's no power in this. Fair enough. And I would like uranium. That would mean I can make a nuclear power plant and stop this garbage bioreactor I've been running. What a weird little geographical feature. I'm shocked I didn't know about these. I wonder how many other people don't know this exists, because it's a weird one. It's a real weird one. In case you're wondering exactly where I am, I'm on the, like, shelf separating Grand Reef and Sparse Reef. And this goes, like, all the way down into the Grand Reef, it looks like, because I'm at 200 meters at this point, which is well beneath the depth of Sparse Reef, I think. Alright, moment of truth. Does this thing still work? No, not turn off, turn on. Can I chuck ores into you even though my power is further away now? You can have all of my diamonds and all of this gold. Hey, they still work, hell yeah. And you can have the less valuable stuff that just happens in my inventory, which, I guess rubies and some uranium, why not? Chuck the rest of this into the Autosort. Now, sad times to the bioreactor, it is done. We're not using biofuel anymore, it's time for nuclear rods. Let's see what we need to make this. I might have gotten ahead of myself. I think we can do all that. Advanced wiring kits and lead. We need silver and probably don't need the lead, honestly. I'm gonna put that on hold for a second, go for another run of shale and uranium. Oh shit, my base is running out of power. What is my base doing that's consuming all this power? Plus 168 minus 0, that's obviously not true. Well, I have one less solar power than I used to, but I also have a lot less biofuel than I used to. For the time being, emergency solar panels go. Right, we now have a full 8 solar panels. How could this possibly not be enough to power everything, right? We are actually steadily climbing now. We do function. Good. That's nice to see. Well, this is a bad sign, isn't it? It doesn't appear to have done anything. Hopefully error 2 doesn't mean everything's fucked and nothing works, but that could be what it means. The jukebox is 700,000? This is a highway robbery.
Seek fluid in.
How am I supposed to fight this? We might have a shitload of corpse and copper. I'm looking at my resource monitor and thinking that maybe I've been going too hard. We may have gathered quite a lot of many of these resources. Okay, we made this trip to the safe shallows, got an entire inventory of table coral because we had just completely bottomed out.
Handling radioactive materials.
We're also going to need the waste disposal, I think it's called.
EDA's
Nuclear waste disposal. I was hoping to put it symmetrical to the trash can, but apparently I can't. Sorry, trash can, I no longer need you. You were originally for replanting seeds, or getting rid of seeds, rather. Oh, it just takes up more space somehow? Well, rip lantern fruit tray. I've got to put it somewhere, and this is blocking it. So, nuclear waste disposal goes there. I'm also going to need a small wall locker. I guess I can put it behind this lantern tree to store rods in. And we need to actually make the rods up top. Reactor rod is 3 uranite, 1 lead, 1 titanium, 1 glass. This better give an obscene amount of power. It seems like it does. It caps out at 3,100. Fair enough. I was originally planning on making, like, multiple extra rods. I think I'm just have a single extra rod to throw in the locker and call it there, because that is a lot of glass. Even though I am getting a lot of glass from the mod, very important. The sand that I'm getting, that resource I didn't know what it was from the drills, you can make into glass at a 1-to-1 ratio, so that's very helpful. But even so, I still don't want to make that much glass. The glass being the part of this I view as the most prohibitive. Anyway, we now have a fully online nuclear reactor, a waste disposal, a spare rod in case we somehow ever need it. It's a huge amount of power. I don't see that happening, especially with the solar power to supplement it. And before I head back in the base, let's head over to the base in a box, now known as the second base, or the scanner room. Despite very recently saying I don't view myself as the kind of person to make Reginald farms, they aren't reproducing. They only reproduce in an aquarium, don't they? Well, this was a big waste of glass. It's fine, we'll get it back. So like I was saying earlier, even though I very recently said that I'm not the kind of person to make Reginald farms to fill a bioreactor, it just seems weird to have the bioreactor without this. Like, it's obviously more optimal if I am making a bioreactor, it should be like this. We're done scanning here for now, no reason to keep bothering with this. I'm hoping that after today, after all this nonsense of setting up Field Trader Studios and gathering and gathering and gathering for what feels like hours on end, I will finally be free to do other things. Gonna quickly grab some more valuable resources and chuck them into the refineries. Although at this point, I don't have that many options. I don't need this uranite. Yeah, the issue is I've already put most of my diamonds and gold in there. I've got a good chunk of gold there. My inventory's full. Oh yeah, because I just deconstructed most of a base. Fair enough. Take a bit more of the gold. I'll take like all but 2 diamonds. I don't know of anything left that I really need diamonds for, but just in case. And once again, we're just pumping these things full of ore as often as we can. Just turn them both off every single time I try to use them. I do this. This Autosort locker is so nice, but the big thing, the whole point of getting Field Trader Studios in the first place. We can't do it yet. We have to wait a little bit. But we can go to the store and get started. Yeah, I keep getting error 2. Not sure what that's about, but hopefully it's not a huge deal. We're going to home. We're adding the jukebox to our cart. I'm gonna need at least like 2 speakers, probably more. I keep getting error 2. No idea what it's about. I would like it to stop giving me error 2. I'm going to order these things. Buy all, choose destination, the only one we've got, purchase and exit. And we're gonna save our money for a heavy drill rig after this and see how that one works, how it compares to the light ones. But for now, I'm gonna go sleep, wait for this to get here, and handle some more boring stuff like food and water. Oh hey, the ore processors work while you're sleeping and just like very rapidly dump it all into your account. Nice. Makes sense. Can you hear it on YouTube? I assume you should be able to. The rhythmic thumb of living on top of a nuclear reactor. Not sure I agree with this power source. More importantly though, can you hear this on YouTube? Let's figure it out. Is that all of them? Yeah. Let's get this thing hooked up. Alright, so the jukebox obviously goes there in the middle. The subwoofer would obviously go down on the side of it. And I feel like I'm supposed to put these around the base, not necessarily next to it. So I'm going to move one over here to the moon pool. And then move another one across the base over to the fabricator room. Yeah, right there seems perfect. It was meant for it. Alright, subwoofer, you're kind of in the way. I'm having a hard time telling what this is about. Music list, none. I've been robbed. How do I get the music? What's the point? I'm deeply confused. I actually can't find anything about the jukebox even on the mod page. Like, clicking on their more info button a couple of times, I can't even find a reference to the jukebox existing. They talk about a lot of the other stuff, but they don't mention the jukebox. And looking through the mod files, I don't see like a jukebox music folder at all. So, this feels tragic. If anyone in the comments knows how to make this thing work, where I put music files or where I get music from, I'm all ears. Because right now, I'm not seeing anything about actually getting music files. Wasn't there like a data one? Would it be under MISC? No, these are like actual game resources. Storage is what I'm thinking of, but it means, wait. Yeah, no, storage is some weird remote storage, cross-map sort of stuff. I don't think this is about music. Nothing seems to mention that anyway. Plays your favorite music, but like, what's your favorite music? How do I get it? Oh, that's so sad. Well, I'm gonna look into this between videos, probably not find the solution, be sad about it, and conspicuously not ever talk about the jukebox ever again. This breaks my heart a little. I'd rather go hear it. I hope you enjoyed the video. Today was very much an upgrading, gathering, base building sort of day. Sorry that the Jellyshroom footage was lost. I hope that's not too big of a deal for any of you, and I'll see you in the next one.